Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Weekend. It's a brand new show where every week we talk about your favorite sports, and today we're talking about college football. Alright, as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified every single time I post a new video. And with that out of the way, let's jump right into last week's predictions. So I did okay. I only lost 4 games. I went 8-4. But on the season, I'm still 57-32. Last week, my percentage was 63.6, and it only went up 0.4 points. Now I'm sitting at 64, so I'm going to need a couple perfect weeks to really jump that up, to bring it up from a D to a C. I'm really working hard, I'm sorry, but hopefully it gets better. And with my predictions and percentage out of the way, let's jump into last week's insane moment. I said it last week that if this happened, it would be the insane moment. And wouldn't you know, it happened. South Carolina beat Auburn. They won 30-22. Kevin Harris had 2 touchdowns. I told you he was going to do good, and I should have picked South Carolina. I had too much faith in Bo Nix. They forced 3 interceptions against him. I think that South Carolina is going to be one of those spoiler teams in the SEC. Any SEC team that has a chance for the playoff needs to mark that game on their calendar and worry about South Carolina, because this team may not be up to par with other playoff contention teams, but I think this team can be a top 20 team by the end of the year, if not sooner than that. So watch out for this team, okay? South Carolina is going to be legit sooner rather than later. With last week's insane moment out of the way, let's jump into this week's headlines. Big Ten is back. They kick off their season tonight, Friday night, again with Illinois taking on Wisconsin. That's going to be an interesting game to watch, and a few interesting teams to watch out of the Big Ten are Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Really keep your eye on Minnesota, though. I always have a lot of faith in PJ Fleck and rowing the boat. I think PJ Fleck has a good team this year, and they can do a lot of things. So watch out for Minnesota and the Big Ten. They have a chance to have 2 teams in the playoffs. So watch out, rest of the world. Next one, Miles Brennan is hurt. LSU's starting quarterback Miles Brennan just came down with an injury. He's been ruled out for Saturday's game against South Carolina. True freshman TJ Finley will take his place. First career start for him against a good defense that just forced 3 interceptions, like I said, in last week's insane moment against Auburn. Will be interesting to see what he can do against the South Carolina defense. This could fuel the fire of another disappointing loss for LSU in a season that has been already disappointing enough after winning a national championship last year. Next one, we have campus shutdowns. Clemson University just announced that they're going to shut down their campus after Thanksgiving break, along with plenty of other universities that have decided to do this. There's still home football games to be happening after Thanksgiving break. What are they going to do with those games? Because students won't be on campus. Will Clemson and other universities allow the student section to even be a thing? Because all of these universities have had student sections in the games, but if students aren't supposed to be on campus, are they going to have a student section in the stadium? Will students be able to fill that section? I don't even think that the university officials at any university across the country know the answer to that yet. Hopefully we will learn that in the coming weeks, and I will relay that information as soon as I find that out. With the headlines out of the way, let's jump into this week's games. Starting us off, we have the first Big Ten matchup of the season, Illinois and Wisconsin. This one should be interesting. Illinois has not been relevant in recent years. Wisconsin has always produced really good running backs. We will see who's going to be the next one since Jonathan Taylor is no longer there. Oh, I forgot to mention, the spoons are back. We have 4 spoons, and here's the first one. This fucking vegetable. Okay, 2 ice. It is just ice. It is. Okay. Got that down. That is so much better cooked. Remember, everyone, if you have frozen food, cook it. Like I was saying, Illinois has not been good. Wisconsin is good. Give me Wisconsin in an easy win, in my opinion. Gut feeling, since there's really nothing to go off of stat-wise. Oh, man. Next game, we have Syracuse taking on number 1 Clemson. Easy win for Clemson. Syracuse lost to Liberty. I don't know what else to say. Next game, we have Nebraska taking on Ohio State. Now, if you remember, Nebraska was one of the teams and fan bases that really pushed the Big Ten to start their season back. I think they're going to wish the season was canceled after this game. Ohio State is on a mission. Justin Fields has been on a mission to redeem himself after last season's college football playoff semifinal loss to Clemson. I think that he has a big game, and I think Ohio State absolutely crushes the Cornhuskers. Give me the Buckeyes. I think it's a big win for them. Next game, we have NC State taking on North Carolina, and if you'll notice with the slides right here, that this slide is red with red slides. That's 2 top 25 teams playing each other, and with yellow, it's 1 top 25 team playing in a game. So just keep an eye out for the colors, okay? Red, 2 top 25s, yellow, 1 top 25 team. Now, with North Carolina, they just had a horrible first half and a horrible loss against FSU. Special teams won the game for Florida State. They had a blocked punt that led to a one-play drive for a touchdown. They also had an interception return for a touchdown against North Carolina. So North Carolina might have just had the soul taken out of them. They might have. That's a tough loss to deal with after they just jumped into the top 5. NC State's been on the come up. They've been doing a lot better recently. But I'm going to have to go with the talent. I think North Carolina has a bounce-back win. I think they shore up the special teams troubles. And I think that Sam Howell has a good game. And I think North Carolina gets the W against the Wolfpack. Give me the Tar Heels. Next game, we have Kansas taking on Kansas State. Again, it's Kansas. I'm not going to pick Kansas until they prove that I'm wrong and they win and they beat somebody. They're still winless on the season. They're going to continue to be winless on the season. Kansas State is a good football team. Kansas State is going to beat Kansas. I don't care if it's close or if it's a blowout. Kansas State wins. Kansas is bad. I will always pick against Kansas. So, next game, we have Georgia State taking on Coastal Carolina, who just jumped into the top 25. Oh my goodness, I'm excited for that team down there in Conway, South Carolina. I think the Chanticleers have a good chance this season to remain undefeated, at least have a double-digit win season. I think that they'll continue their undefeated season against Georgia State. So, give me the Chanticleers. Next game, we have an SEC matchup between Auburn and Ole Miss. Ole Miss, they have a dangerous offense when the lane train gets rolling. I'm always nervous for any team that's going against Ole Miss, but Auburn just had a horrible game against South Carolina. Bo Nix has regressed from last season. I think that he has a good game against Ole Miss because their defense is a laughingstock. They put up over 550 yards allowed. It's not a good defense. I think that Auburn has a bounce-back game, and I think Bo Nix has a good game. And Tank Bigsby does Tank Bigsby things and gets another great game. Give me the Auburn Tigers. Next game, we have Oklahoma taking on TCU. Oh, man. Next game, we have Oklahoma. Ooh, that's spicy. That must be sriracha. That's definitely sriracha. Oh, that water made it worse. Water for sure made that worse. Oklahoma taking on TCU. These two teams are very similar in their records. They both beat Texas, but they both lost to Iowa State. How does that make sense? I don't know what else to go off of other than I'm going to go with Oklahoma because they have a strong rush defense and Spencer Rattler has shown life. even though he struggled in some games. If he does good, Oklahoma wins, and I'm going to trust their rush defense. I think Oklahoma gets the W against TCU, so give me the Sooners. Next game, we have Florida State Seminoles taking on the Louisville Cardinals. Oh, goodness, they have one common opponent. That's the Miami Hurricanes. They both lost, but Louisville at least held their own. They only lost 47-34, and Florida State lost 52-10. Going off of that alone, I've got to go with Louisville, but I'll take it one step further. That Malik Cunningham is better than Jordan Travis, even though Jordan Travis is their man now down in Florida State. He leads the team in rushing and passing yards. But I'm going to go with the better quarterback and the better team, and I'm going to take the Louisville Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals. Next game, we have FAU taking on number 22 Marshall, the Thundering Herd. FAU has only played one game this year, and they barely beat Charlotte when they did that. So I'm going to go with Marshall since they're 4-0, and I think that they continue to be undefeated, improve it to 5-0, and beat Florida Atlantic University. So give me Marshall. Next game, we have Alabama taking on Tennessee. Alabama is too powerful on offense. I'm sorry, Tennessee. You're going to lose again after that heartbreaking loss to Kentucky, that absolute thumping that they gave you. I think that Alabama and the Crimson Tide roll over Tennessee. I think it's a blowout. This is probably the easiest pick for me besides the Clemson-Syracuse game. So give me the Crimson Tide. Next game, we have Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish taking on Pittsburgh and the Panthers. Notre Dame struggled very badly against Louisville. They only won 12-7. I think this is another game that could be close. This is dangerous. Ian Book has got to play better. He only had 106 yards against Louisville on 19 passes. This game put Notre Dame on upset alert. Woo, 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 woo. Upset alert, Notre Dame. Watch out. The Panthers are coming after you, and they're coming after you hot with that stingy defense. But I'm still going to go with Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is too powerful and too strong on both sides of the ball. They have too much talent. But this could be next week's insane moment because, like I said, woo, 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 upset alert. Next game, we have Iowa State taking on Oklahoma State, another top 25 matchup. Iowa State has proven to be a decent team since the early slump that they had. Oklahoma State has found their footing and has grown into a better team. I think that Oklahoma State has too many talented players on the offensive side of the ball. I think Chuba Hubbard is a great running back, and I think Iowa State continues their undefeated season and continues to be in the conversation for the college football playoff. So give me the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Next game, we have another Big Ten matchup. Penn State taking on Indiana. Indiana hasn't been relevant in years. Indiana's not going to beat Penn State. Penn State should have an easy win, but you never know. Since Penn State does not have Micah Parsons, we will see what that defense is made of, and we will see who gets the win, but I'm going with the Nittany Lions. Next game, we have an ACC battle between Virginia Tech and Wake Forest. Virginia Tech's rushing attack alone will be enough to beat Wake Forest, in my opinion. It's too much for Wake Forest to handle. Wake Forest loses another game. Virginia Tech continues to be one of those top 25 teams that could give Clemson or whoever they play in the ACC some trouble. So give me the Hokies. Next game, we have another ACC matchup with Georgia Tech taking on Boston College. Georgia Tech had the absolute crap beaten out of them by Clemson 73-7. Do they respond well? I don't think so. I think Georgia Tech has another tough game. I think Boston College throws the ball all over Georgia Tech, and Boston College gets another easy win, in my opinion. So give me the Eagles. Next game, we have Kentucky taking on Missouri. Kentucky just absolutely beat the crap out of Tennessee, 34-7. Meanwhile, Missouri lost to Tennessee, 35 to... spicy burps. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, Missouri got stomped out by Tennessee, 35-12. Common opponent alone. I'm going to go with the Wildcats. Give me the Wildcats. It's raw mushrooms. Is this safe? Like, I feel like I could die. Oh, I hate mushrooms. That was just weird. I feel like anybody who likes mushrooms is still going to hate that. Raw, again, if you have food in general, I didn't think I'd have to say this, cook it. I thought we'd stop at frozen food, but no, mushrooms next. Okay, next game, South Carolina taking on LSU. Kevin Harris will run all over this LSU defense. LSU has been disappointing, and I think that season continues. I think that South Carolina will get the win. I think South Carolina beats LSU. I'm not even sure if this qualifies as an upset because LSU has been that bad. And South Carolina, like I said, is on the come up. So watch out, LSU. You're going to lose. I'm sorry to say it, but you were a one-hit wonder last season. Actually, I'm really not sorry to say it. Next game, we have Michigan taking on Minnesota. Like I said at the beginning of the show, PJ Fleck, he knows how to get guys motivated, and I think he'll be ready to play, and I think all of his players will be ready to go. If Michigan doesn't take this game even the slightest bit seriously, they're going to lose. I think that this is going to be one of the earliest upsets for the Big Ten. I think Michigan loses. Put them on upset alert. Woo, woo, woo. Upset alert for Michigan. Minnesota gets the win. So give me the Golden Gophers. Next game, we have Virginia taking on Miami. Easy pick for me, Miami. Virginia's not good. Miami is. I don't need to give any more explanation than that. I think Derek King has a great game. So give me the Hurricanes. Next game, we have Cincinnati taking on SMU, a top 25 matchup. It's going to be a good game, I think. I think SMU's offense is dangerous. They put up over 550 yards every single game. But Cincinnati's defense is better. They only give up 12 points per game. This game is a toss-up. This could go either way, and this might keep me from having a perfect record next week. But I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bearcats. I think they get it done. I think that they are too strong on defense. I think they contain. They don't stop. They contain the SMU offense. And I think they continue their undefeated season and quite possibly become the first non-Power 5 team to join the college football. That's embarrassing. The college football playoff. So give me the Bearcats. Last game, we have Texas State taking on BYU. A little bit of an anticlimactic way to wrap up the show, but here we are. Nothing else to say other than it's Texas State and BYU. If BYU loses, I should not have a job in the sports industry because I would be foolish for saying this, but I think it's going to be an absolute curb stomping. I think BYU gets an easy win, and the Cougars continue to have a good season. So give me BYU. And here comes the last spoon. That's going to do it for this weekend. I'm your host, Matt Smart. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you like what you're watching, I don't even care. Tune in next week to see me get punished. I don't even know what the hell that was. I'll see you next week in college football.